also, frankly. But the biggest loser, and how it can happen, is absolutely unbelievable. But we have to absolutely cherish and take care and work with Israel. There's no question about it.
What's your position on the political elite, politicians and government agencies that place themselves above the people? When are we going to rein that in? How are we going to rein it in? And when are we going to stop this creep on the government while it gets continuously larger and larger and larger? There's no such thing as a budget cut.
Yeah.
It's always crazy math that there is.
You're right. You're right. And you know, when you talk about political, you know, Hillary with emails, how about that? She has emails. It's totally illegal. And nothing happens. And one of the reasons I'm so angry with the Republicans, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative person, but you hear this great indignation, this horrible, terrible indignation, ranting, raving for a day, 2 days. You never hear about it anymore. Whether it's Obamacare, you don't even hear about Obamacare. You're hearing it from me, you don't hear about it anymore. It's a disaster. And you have this great indignation and then nothing happens. Whether it's Benghazi, Obamacare, the emails, we can go into 100 different things. Nothing ever happens. It'll happen if I get in there. Ask two questions.
Hi, my name is Vicki Henderson. Mr. Trump, one of the things that I think is most important that a president would do is appoint Supreme Court justices. Can you tell us how you would feel about pro-life and same-sex marriage?
Yeah, I'm pro-life. I would, you know what? It's a very interesting question. But one thing you need is great, competent, brilliant judges. Some decisions have come down recently, like Justice Roberts, who really, Jeb Bush was the one pushing him. He gave us Obamacare. It shouldn't even be called Obamacare. He had 2 times to kill it, and both times he didn't. He's a Bush appointment. He's a Bush appointment. 2 times he could have killed it. Especially the first time. It was shocking. Nobody believes the decision. It was a wrong decision. And we have to put great people in who believe in our values. That's very important. That's one of the most important decisions you're going to make as president. Okay, final question. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Trump, I'm retired military.
Good.
Thank you for your comments that you said earlier about protecting our military and our veterans.
Thank you.
What is your position on what's happening in Iraq and Afghanistan with, ISIS taking over some of the territory in Iraq? What's your position on maybe putting more troops back in Afghanistan and Iraq?
So I was against going into Iraq. I'm a very militaristic type person. But you got to know when to use it. And if you look, Reuters in July of 2004, the Bush people came to my office because I was getting so much publicity. It was such a bad thing to do. I said, you're going to knock out. You had these 2 powers that were equal militarily. And they'd go over here, they'd fight for years, they'd fight here, they're back and forth. They were the same. Saddam Hussein would go 10 feet, Iran would go 10 feet, and then they'd rest for a few years, right? I said, you're going to decapitate one of those powers. And what's happening exactly? And I said this 2004. I said, Iran will take over Iraq and the oil. And other people will also take over the oil. And they'll make Saddam Hussein look like a baby, ISIS. So ISIS has the oil. Iran is going to take over Iraq. You know, last week, just so you understand, Iraq was meeting with Iran. Iran has essentially taken over Iraq. And in a sense, there is no Iraq. It's different factions, different groups. The government is corrupt as hell. So we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives, wounded warriors who I love all over the place, on stupid decisions. Now, with that being said, you cannot let ISIS get away with what they're doing. You cannot let it happen. And believe me, if I'm running things, it's not going to be happening for very long. That I can tell you. Thank you all very much.